ว่าพ่อฟ้ารักพ่อค่ะฟ้ารักพ่อฟ้ารักพ่อที่สุด
Before I started Disrupt, I had my own little blog, unimaginatively and egotistically named originated.com. This was an article I published on 3 March 2019, ahead of the national election on 24 March. In the article I wrote, Thanathorn's alleged crime is fomenting a revolution of the mind that could lead to the changing of the social hierarchy and the traditional status quo. That, ladies and gentlemen of the children, is what we call a people's revolution. As old as time is a tale most feared by the traditional establishment. The article ended with this sentence: one thing is for certain, tradition versus change is a tale as old as time. Now I am not a prophet, nor am I an oracle. My name isn't Nostradamus. But from February 2020 to this very day, that is what has been happening in Thailand. The rise of the people, a revolution of the mindset, a cultural revolution. Ask any pro-establishment supporter and they will tell you Thanathorn Juangrungruangkit is the puppet master and the money bag behind the pro-democracy movement. Now whether he is or isn't, I would love to see the evidence, but one thing is for certain. He started this wave of cultural revolution. From children as young as high school to college students, middle-class office workers, and even many among the older generation, they protest against tradition, social hierarchy, and the status quo. They rise against the belief system. They have even gone way beyond anything Thanathorn has said, at least in public. They went straight at monarchy before.
Thousands of protesters marched in Bangkok on Sunday in an open challenge to Thai King Maha Vajiralongkorn. In a country where lese majeste laws make criticising the monarchy illegal, this show of defiance is tearing up a long-standing taboo.
Not even the Rachel UDD went there, at least not officially. Now perhaps Thanathorn may have kick-started the change the elites do not want to believe in. But truth be told, the cultural revolution was coming sooner or later anyway, because change is the natural evolution of human society. You can only put a lid on it for so long. On one hand, we have the baby boomers who grew up in the Cold War era, tradition, hierarchy, monarchy. On the other hand, we have the millennials and younger who are growing up in the social media era, freedom, globalization, borderless world, K-pop, and snazzy hashtags. The two forces are bound to clash. Then you have the Generation X, like me, and many others who grew up somewhere in the middle. But humans, such that we are, view life as a bedtime story. There must be the good guy versus the bad guy. It's a tale as old as time. And in this very Siamese story, the bad guy is Thanathorn Juangrungruangkit. This article, which I published on disrupt.com 11 March 2020, discusses how he may face 10 years imprisonment for the crime of filing too late his previous shareholding in the defunct celebrity gossip magazine. But notice, the headline says, Thanathorn may face 10 years in prison for the crime of trying to change Thailand into a democracy. Because that's really what he's guilty of. Nothing to do with a defunct celebrity gossip magazine or lending money to Future Forward Party. In fact, he's also facing Section 112, the lese majeste law, for questioning Siam Bioscience and the concession/monopoly to import and manufacture the COVID-19 vaccine AstraZeneca. The company is owned by His Majesty the King. But really, that's not why. The 3 to 15 years lese majeste sentence per count is because they blame him for Thailand's cultural revolution. That is his true crime. You see, the cultural belief system dictates the character and behavior of a nation. To change the belief system is to change the national DNA, to replace or reduce the power of the powers that be. To the traditional establishment, Thanathorn is a dangerous threat. In the previous video, we discussed how Thaksin Shinawat's code of personality was becoming a threat. The two reasons why Thaksin is so feared and hated by Thailand's traditionalists are these. He's too popular, and he's too popular among the wrong group of people. Trust me, Thanathorn's code of personality is much more of a threat given the present context. 6,254,726 million popular votes and 81 parliament seats in the 2009 election were unprecedented for a newbie political party. Of course, some of you may say no. Newbie Thai Party swept the 2001 election, but bear in mind, an important reason was that Thaksin had gathered most of Thailand's political godfathers into his party. Thanathorn did not pursue that strategy. Well, he couldn't. Palang Pracharat already recruited a lot of those political godfathers from Thaksin. But then, Future Forward was banned. Now we have Move Forward. 81 MPs went down to 53 MPs, and trust me, they will lose more. It's an illustration of how dead set the traditional establishment is to squash the power of Thanathorn Juangrungruangkit. He is a dangerous threat. He has become a hero of the new generation and also for many people of the older generation. Let me tell you a story. There was a very popular soap opera from 2011, ดอกส้มสีทอง, about a rebellious young girl named Rhea, nicknamed Far or Sky. She's fierce, daring, and outspoken, very untied. Her husband is the much older, wealthy businessman who she affectionately calls Paul or Daddy. Now let's leave Sigmund Freud out of this and focus on Thai politics. A famous phrase from the soap opera is Far รักพ่อ Far loves Daddy.
แปลว่าพ่อฟ้ารักพ่อค่ะฟ้ารักพ่อฟ้ารักพ่อที่สุด
The phrase top trended on Twitter in 2019 and Thanathorn jokingly tweeted a reply, Daddy loves Far too, and all the people. Also, supporters took to calling him Paul Far, Far's daddy, but also literally it means Sky Father. It was all a joke, but it wasn't funny to everybody because it reflected a growing phenomenon that undermines the traditional belief system. Here we have the context of a rising national figure with the political goal of changing the belief system and the power status quo in a country where the belief system dictates that the land belongs to the father while the people are peasants under the sky and servants of the land. As we have discussed in the previous Thaksin video, in Thailand, there can only be one father. There can only be one sky. There can be a couple of funny uncles, but there can only be one father.